everybody. Coach Catherine here. I am super excited about today's topic, but welcome to Power Ups Tips today. Please comment below. Let me know where you're chiming in from, what city, what state you're in. I am currently in Spokane, Washington, and absolutely loving this beautiful city. If you're in the neighborhood, definitely let me know. Let's connect. So today's topic is signs that you are overwhelmed. This to me seems to be coming up a lot for a lot of individuals that I work with. And I think what the cause is, you know, the holidays are over, we're in full swing, life is just happening, everything's thrown at us. The holidays are over, right? We're like, holy cow, a whole month is done for the year. What's happened? Things are just happening quickly. So I want to cover some signs that you might be overwhelmed. The first one would be difficulty sleeping. Maybe you're sleeping too much. Maybe you're sleeping too little. Maybe you're not being consistent. If you're not being consistent, sleeping too much, too little, erratic, your circadian rhythm is probably out of whack. So something I really would like to suggest or focus on is, what is it that you're doing the hour before bed? Are you on the computer? Are you on your phone? Are you on devices? Are you watching TV? What are you doing an hour before bed? Are you eating foods that are spicy, lots of alcohol? What are you doing an hour before bed? You need to sleep 8 hours a night. I would say 7 to 8 hours is optimal. 7 to 8 hours. And the same time every single night. And I know that many of you are going to argue with me on that, but that's what keeps your rhythm consistent. That's what gives you that deep, deep sleep. Your sleep needs to be a rock in your schedule. You need to have it blocked off and have your phone off, maybe even have your phone out of your room. Go back to the old-fashioned alarm or some sort of alarm system that lightens up your room, as long as that wakes you up. Also, another sign that you might be overwhelmed is you're always tired no matter how much sleep you get. So are you sleeping an average of 8 hours a night and you're still feeling exhausted? You're dragging? And remember, when I'm saying 8 hours a night, I'm saying consistently every single night. So if you are sleeping consistently 7 to 8 hours every single night, my next question would be, are you eating healthy? And eating healthy might be subjective, and that might be something that we need to talk about. Are you getting exercise or some sort of movement every single day? Optimally, you should be getting 150 minutes of moderate exercise every single week. Is that you? Well, another thing I think about when a client of mine tells me that they're feeling exhausted and tired all the time, no matter how much sleep they get, is, are they doing something on a daily basis or at least a weekly basis that they're passionate about? Do you have something that you do every week that you love and you enjoy and you would do it for free? Do you have a nonprofit that you're involved in? Is there something that you're extremely passionate about and have something to look forward to on a weekly basis? Maybe you need to do it more, or maybe you need to find out what that is. Another sign that you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed or are overwhelmed would be, again, lack of energy, probably a little bit similar to the last one, but things that come to mind when the energy is lacking and they're just really dragging, and especially if it's around that midday or that 2 or 3 area of the afternoon, I would have the first question would be hydration. Are you staying consistently hydrated all day long? Are you waking up and consuming water first thing? Filtered water, let me be very clear on that. Filtered water first thing in the morning and with every single meal. Keeping yourself hydrated consistently will help with your energy. Proper food, again, mentioned that earlier, eating the right healthy foods. And remember, carbs are not the enemy? Are you removing sugar from your diet? Knowing that a lot of individuals consume a lot of sugar for breakfast, they might be chasing these highs and these lows, these crashes and these burns all throughout the day, and that's really exhausting. At the end of the day, you will not have the energy to make dinner and play with your kids, guaranteed. Avoiding alcohol. I'm not saying don't drink ever, but I'm saying really limit your alcohol consumption. Alcohol will definitely have an impact on your energy over a 48-hour period. Keeping your caffeine under 200 milligrams a day is also essential in keeping from those crashing and burning, feeling that wired and tired feeling. I used to be that way 10 years ago. I chased it constantly, consuming more and more caffeine. Another sign that you're overwhelmed is being high-strung or anxious. Taking small breaks throughout the day and repeating these words in your mind. Relax, relax, relax. And as you're saying each of these words, think in your mind your neck, your shoulders, your back, maybe even your lower back, your glutes, your hamstrings, just really focusing from top to bottom, releasing the tension and the tightness in your body. Are you breathing? Are you meditating throughout the day? Just takes moments to really hone in your thoughts and breathing. I know when I'm really stressed out, I'm a holder. Like I hold my breath. Maybe taking a quick walk. You know, I know it's wintertime when I'm doing this recording, but simply just walking around. It doesn't have to be a mile, it doesn't have to be any long distances. We're just getting up and moving. Because as you know, when you sit, your glutes fall asleep. When your glutes fall asleep, atrophy sets in. Not good for us, guys. Again, back to exercise. If you're feeling anxious or high-strung, it's really important to take out your frustrations and that anxiety and all that built up tension in exercise. All right, another aspect of feeling overwhelmed is, are you really stressed out all the time? Are you saying it? I'm stressed out. You're stressing me out. This is a sign that we need to hone in and maybe ask for some extensions on some projects, giving ourselves a little bit more time to complete things, and maybe even taking a day off. Maybe having a 3-day weekend would be a glorious thing. Doing more self-care is essential if you're saying, I'm stressed out. Making, projects smaller. Maybe if you're working on something, make it a smaller project. Create little milestones or have someone help you break it up and make it so it's not such a big ordeal. And maybe stop overcommitting if you're really stressed out. I know that I'm pretty bad about that. I'll raise my hand and volunteer, especially if nobody's volunteered. I feel bad, like, somebody's got to do it, I'll do it. But learning to say no and learning to put boundaries on your own self and those that might be pushing projects on you all the time, let them know, you know what, I'm maxed out. Ask me again in 6 months. Give yourself the space and time to get caught up and not feel stressed. One thing I wanted to mention is I believe that there should be 8 hours of sleep in a day, 8 hours of work, and 8 hours of the things that you enjoy and love. Here's another aspect if you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you have a loss of appetite or overeating. It's really important to eat at the same times every single day. Fuel your body with the foods that will fuel you for the day. Think of food as fuel versus taste, texture, and enjoyment. Because guess what? Those are probably the foods that are high in calories. Maybe consider eating smaller portions of whatever it is that you choose to eat. Pay attention to your hunger scale and eat when you are needing to fuel your body. Don't eat when you're overly hungry because most likely you're going to make poor choices. And making sure you don't overeat, maybe using smaller dishes, using chopsticks to slow down your eating, all great tips. Are you having difficulty focusing? This would be another aspect of being overwhelmed. Again, making sure that you break down those tasks that you're doing into smaller chunks and maybe write down all the things that you're currently working on and prioritize and try to just work on either 1 to maximum 5 things in a day. It's much easier to work on one thing every day and then another thing the next day. So that way you can accomplish something, and it's so rewarding to cross it off on the list. Another thing is to actually make lists that you can actually physically cross things off. You feel accomplished. You feel like you're getting somewhere. You feel like you're going places and accomplishing things. One thing that's worked for me when taking multiple classes or courses is I flip-flop. So one day I'll work on one course, the next day I'll work on the other course. And this is online courses, so it's not the physical ones that, that can complicate things as well. But if I'm only focusing on one course or one education piece all the time, then I feel like I'm getting behind on the other one. It's kind of fun to kind of flip-flop between the days, and you always are feeling like you're advancing in both of those curriculums. Also, take a nap. Really, naps are great. Even if you're getting the 7 to 8 hours of sleep, which I recommend, taking a nap is lovely. Getting horizontal, and maybe it's not even sleeping. Maybe it's just meditating or listening to your breathing or just putting your feet on the earth and just getting yourself grounded. Also another thing with someone that's feeling overwhelmed, something that I typically see is lack of motivation. When I see this or hear that, that's a really big sign that self-care is needed. I can post a list in the show notes with a link to self-care. I have a tremendous list that I'm always building on of ideas for self-care, and self-care doesn't have to cost money, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time. But if you're feeling overwhelmed, you need to get some self-care in, and it will rekindle, reignite, and you'll feel so much better when you tackle your projects. Also, another thing that I suggest is seeing your doctor. Get a blood panel. Check your vitamin D, check your hormones, check your thyroid. What's important about your thyroid is don't just get your TSH checked. Check your T3 and T4. These are most likely not going to be covered by your insurance, but these are extremely important to have checked. Also, another sign of being overwhelmed is becoming more introverted. I think of myself as an introvert, which might surprise most of you. But if you're feeling the need to be more introverted and to hide more, then there's probably a likelihood that you're overwhelmed. You have too much on your plate and you're not taking care of your health. So in order to rekindle that, we need to look at our friends. Look at the people that we are around. Are they draining us? Are they taking a lot of our energy? Are they really needy? Are we plugging into them and giving them all of our energy? It shouldn't be that way. It should be like a tennis match, right? You don't want to go play tennis with someone that's not as good as you. You want to play tennis with someone that challenges you. You don't want to play tennis with a pro either, but you want to play tennis with someone that is just a little bit better than you, that pushes you to be better. So you want to hang out and be around people that you admire and that inspire you. Okay, so maybe it's your tribe. And we are social beings. We do need a tribe of people. Kind of like I always think about the caveman days. We needed people around us to survive. If we don't have people around us, we kind of just feel disconnected. So maybe take a look at the people that you're hanging around, you're spending the most time with. Maybe they're toxic. Maybe you need to spend less time with them and create boundaries. So finding new friends. The last one that I'm going to mention for feeling overwhelmed is if you have a shift in your mood. Maybe you're feeling more moody or more emotional. I would probably recommend at this point in time seeking doctors, maybe a counselor, maybe a therapist. That would probably be my next step. If all of these tips you've put into play, you've hired a health coach, and you're still feeling overwhelmed and not focused and having a hard time, I would say the next step is finding a therapist or a counselor. So hopefully this has been helpful. I would love to get feedback, any kind of comments or any hearts or love that you can give me. Thumbs up would be incredible. I appreciate it. And if you want to continue this conversation, I would love to. I'll put the link in the notes. Schedule a call with me. It's number 2 is access to my calendar. book a call. At least 30 minutes to an hour would be great. I'd love to find out what your challenges are, how I can help you, how I can serve you. And as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Bye.